Hi ladies, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a little challenge for you. Can you tell the difference in my two eyes? I did both of my eyes using two different palettes, but it's hard to tell the difference. I am going to show you some of my favorite palettes and some of the Alter Ego dupes for them. Alter Ego is a wonderful brand. They make several products, but one of the things that they do like to do is try to dupe some of the high-end products out there, like Natasha Denona, ABH, Huda Beauty. They try to dupe their eyeshadow palettes, which they do a wonderful job in my opinion. So I'm going to show you some of those palettes and I'm going to compare them and show you the difference. What I use today on my eyes is the Natasha Denona Retro palette on one eye and the Alter Ego Harmony palette on the other eye, but I bet you can't tell the difference. I'm going to show you both palettes. This one is the Natasha Denona Retro palette, and it's one of my favorites. It's got mauves and berries and neutral tones in it. Compare that to the Alter Ego Harmony palette, which again has a lot of the mauves and neutral tones. And I'll put them side by side for you so you can see them. And you can see that they tried to dupe them. Sorry about that. Every time I try to talk, my dogs know and they start barking. It's so funny. Okay, going on. Natasha Denona has several different formulas in each of their palettes. They have their normal powder formula. They also have what they call a cream to powder formula, and then they have their shimmers, and sometimes they have duochromes in them. Alter Ego tried to dupe theirs as well. So they tried to have some powders, some cream to powders, and some shimmers. And I'm going to show you a couple of each in these palettes. I'm not going to go through swatching every single one, but I'm going to show you like one of each in each of the palettes. So I'm going to start with the Alter Ego. And I'm going to pull up this color called Scents. And I'm going to put it on my arm right here. Okay. And you can see that. And then I'm going to pull up the Natasha Denona one right below it. And you can see they have the same consistency and they have the same coloring. Those are both their powder formulas. Now, I'm going to pull up one that is a shimmer for you so you can see the difference in the shimmers as well. Let's grab, this one's called Helio in the Natasha Denona. And then this one is called Chime in the Alter Ego. And you can see they look like they have the same coloring. They both swatched exactly the same. So I think they're doing a very good job there. Here is where I think Alter Ego has a little bit of problem, and that is with their cream to powder. This cream to powder is called Andy in the Natasha Denona palette. And you can see how nicely that went on. Now, in the Alter Ego palette, it's called Nurture. And you can see when I try to put this on, you actually have to do like a couple of layers, and it's still sort of light. So I think that's the only area that they do fall a little bit short is their cream to powders. Natasha Denona is known for her cream to powder formulas, and they are amazing. But you can get the Alter Ego to build up. You just have to use a couple of different layers on it. So I think it's still a very, very good product for you to use. And you're doing $69 versus like $17, $18. So there's a big difference. One of the other Natasha Denona palettes that is one of my favorites. In fact, this was the first second Natasha Denona palette that I got, is the Glam palette. This palette is one of my favorites. If you're a neutral girl, this is a perfect palette for you. This has got basically neutral and cool tones in it. They are just gorgeous. Anyone could wear these colors. You can wear them for daytime. You can smoke them out and look great for nighttime. The Alter Ego dupe for that is the Shadow Kiss palette. And this was my first dupe that I got from Alter Ego as well. And you can see side by side, put them both up for you again. They have basically the same color story in them. And again, I will show you a couple of from each of them. This one is called Smoke in the Natasha Denona one. And that is just one of their powder formulas. And it is called Shade in the Alter Ego. Now in this one, they got it a little bit better. I mean, this one, they're both powder formulas and they did really good. Now let me see if I can find one of them that's a cream to powder. I don't know if she has a cream to powder. Oh, yes, she does. The crease color. And it's actually in your Natasha Denona palette. It's called Crease. And it's called Desire in the Alter Ego. Now in this one, you can tell. They both are about the same. They did a very good job on the cream to powder in this one. Maybe it's just the coloring on the other ones that they had a little bit of a problem with. Okay, now I'm going to grab a couple of the shimmers. Let's do this one. This one's called Center Eye. On your Natasha Denona one, and it's called Eclipse on your Alter Ego. And you can see they're about the same. They do a great job. Those are those two palettes. Okay, let me get my wipe. Knocking things off over here. Let me grab another wipe. Get my arm cleaned off before I go to the next palette. Okay, they don't just do Natasha Denona. They do Huda Beauty. This is my favorite. This and the Mercury Retrograde are my two favorite Huda Beauty palettes. And because, again, I love my pinks and mauves, but it's got some like brown tones, like taupey brown tones in it. This has got several different kinds of formulas in here. They've got their powder formulas, they've got some shimmers, they've got some duochromes. They have this odd one right here in the middle that I'm yet to figure out. It's like, it's shiny, it's creamy. It feels like gel. It feels like somebody took almost like Vaseline and it's mixed in now, but it was like clear and then it had different colors in it that sort of burst. Well, Alter Ego came out with their Coastal palette, which has got the same thing. And they even have the little one up here that is like a jelly formula. You can see, you can just rub it and it's like shiny. It's almost like if you wanted to put like a shiny color or wash over your eyeshadows, you could do that. But I don't quite understand, the little jelly colors that are in there. And so I don't use that one that much. I don't use it in the Huda Beauty either. But let's take a couple of swatches here. Let's do, I'm going to do in the Alter Ego one, I'm going to take this pretty pink here called Shell. Isn't that beautiful? And it's called Happiness in the Huda Beauty one. Aren't they pretty? They're just so gorgeous. And they look almost identical. And they feel almost identical. Okay, Alter Ego does not have a cream to powder one. So let's go into just one of the shimmers. Let's grab a shimmer. Let's see. How about, I want one that's going to show up. Well, I'm going to do this one. It's a darker shimmer. It's called Siren in the Alter Ego. And it's called Abundance in the Huda Beauty. Now the Huda Beauty one came out a little bit more smooth, I think. That's that finger. But overall, they look beautiful. I don't think there's any problem with any of them. It's nice because even this, excuse me, Huda Beauty one, they've got this one that's got two different colors in it. And this one right here, that's sort of like, it's called Moon Magic. It's one of my favorites. It actually is like, It's a duochrome. See how it changes colors? It's got pink and green and different colors in it. And in the Huda Beauty one, or in the Alter Ego one, it's called Sparkle. Now this one I am noticing you're going to have to build up a little bit, but the same thing. It's got the different shifts of color in it, like pink to green to gold a little bit. They have duped it very well, I think. Okay, let's get these colors off and we'll go on to our next one. My last and final one is one that just came out at Alter Ego. I'm sorry, that's my husband opening up the garage door. And it's called Midsummer. And this is a beautiful palette. This just makes me think of summer. It does. It's got greens and golds and neutral colors in here. I just love this. And what does it make you think of? ABH, their Nouveau palette. The same kind of storyline. It's got the greens, the golds. It's got like that orangey pumpkin color in it. They both have the little purple in them. It's got about the same formula. And I'm going to tell you something. I've watched several YouTubers that weren't a fan of this palette. Now, I have not had a problem with this, but some YouTubers are saying that there is a little bit of fallout and different things. I will say when I got this and I received it from Ulta, when I bought it, this color right here was cracked and I did have to try to press it back in here. Their glitters are very, they're glittery and they're very soft. So you have to watch out for them. So I'm going to show you some of these. A lot of people were saying they liked the alternate palette, sorry, from Alter Ego better because they liked the formulas. Now I'm going to show you the orange color in the ABH, and you can see that one on really, really nice. That's their powder one. And then I'm going to show you in the Alter Ego, same thing. Now the ABH went on a little bit better, and the Alter Ego, I did have to do 2 swatches and I had to build it up a little bit. But for the most part, they both are going to look the same. They're going to wear the same. Okay, then I'm going to grab this one in the ABH palette. It's called Peacock. And I don't know what it's showing like yours, but it is a beautiful peacock color. And you can see this is just amazing. And look how dark that is. But when I'm putting this on, you can see how soft it is. And you can see with the ABH one. And you're not going to do that with, obviously, you're not going to take it that hard on your brush. It's a nice duochrome. You can see the color shifting from the brown to the green. But you can see there are some pieces in here because it is very soft. Okay, let's try our alternative one, which is called Tempest, in the Alter Ego one. And you can see it's coming out just as dark. But when I put this one on, it actually went on smoother. There aren't chunks. This one on your ABH has some chunks. This one doesn't. But it has the same shifts from the green to the gold to the rust color in it. So I agree with some people. Some of the products and some of the eyeshadows that are in the Alter Ego, in this case, I think are even better than the ABH. I like a lot of my ABH palettes. I really, really do. I don't have problems with them. Other people have had different problems with them. And so, you know, it all depends. I don't have a problem with this one right here that much. I know how to use it because I know I have to be a little bit careful because their glitters are a little bit soft and they can be chunky. So you have to watch that. And I will say the shimmers in this one, they're a lot smoother. They don't have any fallout in them. So in this case, I think this one beat out the high end. Do you want to pay 50 something or 17? To me, you can save money and get the same looks from eyeshadow palettes by getting dupes sometimes. There are other companies that try to dupe some things. e.l.f. tried to dupe Charlotte Tilbury's Flawless Filter. They're for underneath your skin. They did a really, really good job on that. A lot of people actually like the e.l.f. better. Milani, they're my favorite tubing mascara that they just came out. Their highly rated tubing mascara is a dupe for the Thrive Cosmetics tubing mascara. Love it. I love the Thrive one. It's $26 or $28. I just got a new Milani one for $13.99 at Meijer's. So which do you want to spend? If they perform the same and they look the same and you can't afford the higher end products, I bought these dupes because I wanted to see. I had already bought the higher end products, but when I found out about Alter Ego, I'm like, let's try it. I will say this. I bought the Shadow Kiss Alter Ego. That was my first Alter Ego palette because at the time I didn't want to spend the $69 to get the Glam palette from Natasha Denona. So I bought that and I loved it. And then I got the Glam palette on sale. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to get it. And I can make the exact same looks. And obviously you can tell that you can make the same looks. I do not have one palette. I have Natasha Denona Retro palette on one eye, and I have the Alter Ego dupe on the other. Can you tell the difference? Probably not. This one is Natasha Denona, and this one is the Alter Ego, and they look the same. And they performed the same when I put them on, except for the cream to powder. I did have to build it up a little bit on the one eye, but you know what? So I have to spend another minute building up the one side. That's not a big deal to me when I can get the same look. And I like having these dupes. I'm going on vacation in a couple of weeks, so instead of me taking my high-end products with me, I never do. Not on vacation. I just don't. I will take some of my lower end or drugstore products, or I will take my Alter Ego dupes with me because I can get the same looks. But if something happens and they get broke, I'm out $15 or $17, not almost $70. So I think this is a great brand. I would highly recommend it to anybody. And even, younger girls or that are starting out and they want to try some of these things. They go to Ulta or Sephora and they look at the Natasha Denona and they're like, oh, I really want to do that, but I don't have $70. Go on this website, pay $15 or $17, and then you can get the same looks. So no matter what age you are, I would definitely recommend these to you. I hope this video was helpful to you. I hope it lets you know that you don't always have to spend top dollar to get the cute looks that they're showing with all these high-end palettes. You can get them by using some alternatives or dupes. Not everything out there, a lot of people call things dupes, but they're really buy this, not that, because they're really close. These are almost dupes because they have tried to duplicate them the best that they possibly can. So I would definitely recommend them because you do get pretty much the same look and the same feel from all of them. So thank you so much for joining me. I do hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that while you're here, you will consider subscribing to my channel. Share this with your friends. Ring the notification bell so you're notified every time I put a new video up, which is every Tuesday morning. And give it a big thumbs up. And leave a comment. Let me know if you have tried the high end. Let me know if you've tried the Alter Ego. And if you see the same thing that I have, that they're just as good in most cases. You may have a few differences, but I think they work just as good for you. So I hope you enjoyed this. Go out, have yourself a wonderful, blessed day, and I will see you again in the next video.